Good morning. Grateful for another beautiful day. We are going to go look at the Forex factory because we had very important news today. Today we had the core CPI, month over month and year over year. At 2 p.m., we have the Fed funds rate, the FOMC economic projections, and the FOMC statement. And then at 2:30, we have the FOMC press conference where Jerome Powell kind of speaks on what's going to happen. Looking at the charts, price had completely exploded up. All right. If you look at the 1 hour chart, price had been trading in this range for since last week on Wednesday, right? So exactly a week. It's been trading in this range right here. Price consolidated and decided to shoot up again. There's one thing that I want to notate. There is a volume imbalance on the 15-minute chart right here, where there was no buying and selling going on. And it's apparent on the 5-minute chart as well, right? Let's dig down to the 1 minute real quick to see if that's there. On the 1 minute, that same volume imbalance is there as well. So it's not like a true volume imbalance, but there's a gap in price, right, between the closing price and the opening price. I mean, you could say that price came down and rebalanced that gap to send price up higher. But I do believe that price will continue down, possibly to trade within this gap. Maybe use this gap as a launching pad for another run up at 2 o'clock or 2:30. Price moves from external range liquidity to internal range liquidity, right? So we're going to take a look at that. Right now, the only internal range liquidity with an order block is right here. I see this right here that price could come down into, or we can also see this as a runaway gap, right? So if this is considered a runaway gap, then price will continue to just trade down into this volume imbalance and then send price up higher, right? So we're going to be waiting for one of two things. We're going to wait to see what price does in this gap, and we're going to wait to see what price does in this order block right here and this fair value gap right here, right? I am going to be bearish until 2:30. I don't know what I'm going to do at New York Open. I might just not trade until 2:30. If I see an A+ setup, meaning if price comes down to here and starts to pump up and gives me an entry, then I'm going to take this up, right? Because we have data lows right here and we have data highs right here. Okay, so I believe price will hit either up first and then down, or it'll come down and then up. So those are the two different scenarios that we have. Until then, we are not going to be trading. I want to see what price does I want to see what price does before I enter an actual trade. If I see a if I see an IFEG headed down to data lows, then I'm going to take that. All right. But other than that, we're just going to sit tight and see what happens. So we had that 2 p.m. news. Not quite sure what we're going to be doing yet. I marked out this imbalance here, and of course there's this imbalance right here. My immediate thought was that we would wick down all the way into this imbalance and then head up, but it seems to have taken out NYC AM low. We're going to wait a couple minutes before we look for a position. I might wait for 2:30, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, so data lows, if we're bearish, data lows is definitely a target. If we are bullish, then I'm going to target NYC AM high. Um, I still don't know yet. Price is kind of lingering around data highs right now on ES. Let's look at NQ. Yeah, NQ is kind of price is lingering around data highs as well. It rebalanced this imbalance on the 5-minute where data highs is, and I don't know. It's kind of holding, but I feel like we're gonna waterfall down because price is in a bearish order flow at the moment. But we'll see. I mean, anything can happen. So I took a fib from data lows to NYC AM high on ES right now. Um, I was originally going to take this inverse fair value gap. If it actually inversed, then I was going to go long. But I think we are bearish. I think price is gonna want to take out data lows. So I'm gonna be looking for shorts. Why? It's because price is still above the 50% level from this range, data lows to NYC AM high. So I think looking for shorts is a better plan. I'm gonna wait for 230. I'm gonna see if price wants to come up and take out any of these highs right here first before coming down. But we are in optimal trade entry right now, right? So if you look at this fib right here, let me reverse this real quick. We are in optimal trade entry. Okay, so I have a pretty high conviction that we will be headed down to data lows, but I'm gonna be waiting for confirmation. This 3-minute fair value gap is holding at the moment, but at 2:30, anything can happen. Like all of this TA could be nonsense until the news comes. So let's just wait. It's at 2:30 in like 1 second. Let's see what price does. Jerome Powell is going to be speaking. This fair value gap did inverse. And it seems like a whole bunch of nothing yet. Let's see what the 1 minute is showing. So I'm seeing these two as liquidity pools right here. If price wants to come up and take this out, then I'm going to be looking for shorts. There is a gap right here and a gap right there. Could we head up to AM highs? I don't know. We could be bullish too. This long wick here could have been the rebalance that ES needed to send price up higher. So right here, you're gonna watch price kind of dump. I placed my sell limit order there originally, and then I saw all of this as runaway gaps, so that's why I basically just took that position there. I was expecting price to hit NYC PM low. I trailed my stop loss after it broke this low because I didn't want it to come back up over me. So that was a break-even trade, risk-free, and then I just took profits there because I didn't want to wait. All right. As y'all saw, I just took profits there. I didn't want to wait for it to come down because it could easily reverse back up. I am okay with the gains today. Now let's look at the spreadsheet. So we did one trade for $362.82. And that one trade I entered there, as y'all saw, it did hit my take profit for the full amount if I stayed in there, but I didn't want to wait around for that. It was very close to my take profit, so I just took it. And yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with myself. I was definitely very patient. I do have a feeling that price is gonna reach data lows, so I'm gonna stick around to see if it will, and if there is another position that I can take to hit data lows. But right now I'm done. I'm gonna walk away from the computer. I'm okay with the gains that I did today. It is a little bit less than 2R, but you know what? It's okay. I'm not gonna cry over the money that I made. It did look like that I was rushing into that trade a little bit, or I was chasing it, but I saw these as runaway gaps. In my head, I kind of figured that these were going to be left untapped. So that's why I entered where I did, and I just targeted this. Let me know how y'all did in the comments below. Subscribe to join me on my journey to 100K. Like the video for the YouTube algorithm, and I will catch y'all tomorrow.